all this racial tension is happening, it's happening in a blue city, in a blue state. This is the after action report for this day 74 for this lockdown for me. And this AAR is for the George Floyd protest and clash with Minneapolis police last night. It was pretty interesting. There was a lot of different aspects to this. As going over real quick at how this started, there was a guy named George Floyd. The police were called on him because he was a forgery in progress. Okay. All right. So they rolled up, deep with 4 cops and they arrested George Floyd. So there's video of him sitting against the wall with handcuffs and he was sitting down. The cops picked him up and he walked. This was on CBS, Twitter, some crap in Minnesota. All right. Great. But we don't know what happened after they picked him up and he started walking to the car. Why did he go from being walked to the car, pushed on the ground, and kneed on the neck? That makes no sense. And you got to think about it. If there was 4 cops there, they couldn't control this guy. Now I know what you're going to say. Well, some people get really, if he was on PCP, he could. There was no evidence of him on PCP sitting down like that. People who are usually on PCP are erratic. All right, now I know what you're going to say. Well, maybe he got erratic by the car. Maybe. But he was handcuffed, hands behind his back. And then the video starts up with that cop with his knee in his neck for 8 minutes. 8. And there was 4 cops there. They couldn't pick him up, put him in the car. I've heard this argument talked about some of the people living in Minneapolis. They're like, well, why didn't they put him in the car? Why'd they have the knee on his neck? Makes no sense. And I agree. It makes no sense. The optics of this are bad, are horrible. Now, if you looked at the mayor of Minneapolis, this guy looks like a Justin Trudeau, like a weak-kneed soy boy. I don't know if he exactly fired these 4 cops, because they were fired, which should have done, and I'm surprised it was done that fast. Now, the racial makeup of the cops is pretty interesting. It's 2 white guys, including the white guy that had his knee on that guy's neck, George Floyd. And there was an Asian guy, and I heard it was another Latino. The guy that had his, apparently according to the news that I've read, the authoritative sources, Susan Woj, okay, the guy that had his knee on that guy's neck, George Floyd, the cop was named Derek Chauvin. And on the news as well, they found out where he lived and they went to his house to protest, which I'm kind of iffy on this, because I think that this is where it's going to come to, is that once cops start doing these horrible and terrible things, guilty or not, people are going to start going to the homes and protesting. And I don't know if that's a good escalation or not. I understand why you either went. Trust me, I understand. But should you? I don't know. But, so, last night, people started protesting, walking down the street, and there was the racial mix of the people was from African Americans to Caucasians, Latinos, Asians. It was the whole gamut of people. So it wasn't just, a black protest or an African American protest. It was a citywide protest. So they got to a point to it in part of the city, and you can see here in this video right here. I'm not gonna play the audio, but police started firing tear gas at them. Well, according to the police, they started throwing rocks at the police. Okay. Makes sense, all right? I mean, So then it started to rain. The crowd started to disperse. But there's a lot of people out there in front of this Minneapolis 3rd precinct right here. In this video right here. Now, I'll give you kind of a background of where the thing was going on. You had the police precinct right here. Over to the right was a Target. Over to right in front of the police station was a mini something liquors, liquor store, and across the kitty corner across the street was an AutoZone. So the police set up these police cars up here, and you can see right here where it says ACAB. That means all cops are bad in First Amendment auditing and anti-police rhetoric. And they also had F the police, and they damaged these cars. They damaged a lot more cars than that, actually, which I didn't realize until this morning. So they set up one steel barrier around the police station. Then they moved the cars out of the way and then set up another dual railing. And people were chucking rocks. And they set up actual barrier system by the bus stop on either side, right in front of the Target. And there was a bus station right in front of the AutoZone, I think. And they were chucking rocks at them. I don't know where they got these rocks because they're in the middle of the city, but they got rocks and they were chucking at them. And the police were shooting these paint pellets at the protesters to mark them. Apparently, they called them green tips. People thought they were green tip ammunition, for a 5.56 or 223, AR-15 style rifle. No, it wasn't that. I mean, I know the police probably wanted to, and they were also shooting beanbag rounds and doing flashbangs. They call it a glass bomb. It creates a lot of noise. I don't think it's less lethal. I don't know what the hell that means. It's lethal if you get hit by it, but. And then throughout the night, the cops did had a presence there, and I'm surprised they didn't move in and actually move out these people, because I don't know if they didn't want to escalate it. I think that was a good idea. I was listening to or watching some YouTube channels that had the police scanner for the Minneapolis police, and I heard all sorts of things like, we ordered 20 pizzas to feed the police. I guess the police ordered 20 pizzas. They brought it in. The first precinct was involved in on the outer perimeter of the area. Let's see what else. Some cops got hit by projectiles, like right in the neck or in the face. What else? So that had pretty much happened throughout the night. And it essentially died down because people were, it was late, like 1 o'clock in the morning. And then they sort of petered out and left. But interesting enough, that liquor store was looted. AutoZone wasn't looted, which was surprised by me. But they looted the liquor store. And they tried to get the owner of the liquor store back over there to board it up. And he or she, whatever, said, nope. So the city actually had to come in and put a board up on the window, like a plywood. And then they infiltrated the liquor store, and they didn't find anybody in there, apparently. They kept doing like code. There was a basement section to that place, and they did a code 4, which is all clear on the first floor, and a code 4 on the bottom. So how do we wrap this up here? Well, I think there's going to be more protests today, and there should be. Now, the mayor, like I said, this guy is, if you look at him, he looks like Justin Trudeau. He's a soy boy, and what's is funny is about this, all this racial tension is happening. It's happening in a blue city, in a blue state. I don't know. I don't have a good reason for it, other than Democratic governors and mayors don't know how to run a freaking lemonade stand, let alone a city, and this is what happens. Also, the police need to relook at their policing. Okay, putting your knee on someone's neck for 8 minutes in full view of people with phones. Bad optics, bad policing. They know it, but they're probably not going to admit it. Now, they're going to have to admit something. They're going to have to do something. Someone's going to have to swing for this, meaning that essentially someone's going to take the fall for this. Now, those 4 cops have already taken the fall, especially the one. They're going to jail until they get, bailed out. They're done. Their days of policing are pretty much over. Their days of, well, let's go to the next city over and get a job. It's not going to happen because their names are going to be known. So is the police chief going to get fired? No. But they're going to do some sort of, retraining, They're going to get retrained on how not to kill somebody for resisting arrest. Because I don't care what anybody says. Resisting arrest doesn't require your death. Okay? And I don't care what color of the skin is. It doesn't matter. Police don't care your color of skin. They may, let's be honest, they may forcefully go after more African Americans or more force, if you will. But in the end, they'll kill anybody. They don't care because they want to go home at your expense. So, like I said, this after action from last night is pretty interesting. More videos going to come out. More people are going to have a lot more to say about this. And that's what I want to do is I want to wait for the full video of him being, picked up from the ground. And he wasn't, the video I saw when he was brought up from the ground, he wasn't fighting. He wasn't like, punching. He was lifted up off the ground and they started to walk towards the car, and that's where the video ends. I want to see the whole video, and then I'll do another AAR for this and then really, really delve into this because the cops done messed up. They messed up. They messed up big time. And you know what? I understand. I may not totally understand because I'm not an African American, but I understand, and I understand their violence towards the police. I understand it. I don't agree with all the violence, the throwing the rocks. Don't necessarily agree with that, but I understand. Okay, I understand, and I'm not gonna hold it against them because I saw the video. We all saw the video of that guy cranking on his neck, put that knee just grinding his face in the ground. And I did a video on this. Optics are important, and in this case, the cops, terrible optics, and they need to correct themselves. But who knows? They probably won't because cops rarely correct their poor policing.